Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick.
And I'm Ian.
Today we're talking about music we've recently been listening to. There's a bunch of links down below. You got links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music playlist that I put together every week, and the Patreon page. So make sure you check all that out. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. So this is something we haven't done in a while. Talked about music we've just recently come across or stuff that we've been listening to. For me, so I've been a punk fan for a long time. But for some reason, I've never been a big fan of Pennywise. And I don't know why, but like...
for me, it was I just never really listened to them.
Yeah. I mean,
they were just in the periphery, and I never really gave them a shot. Kind of like Bad Religion with me. Now Bad Religion is like my third favorite band of all time.
But it was weird. It was like out of nowhere, like probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was like, oh, I'm going to listen to Pennywise. And then it's like, I've been listening to, especially these two albums. I'm listening to Full Circle and Land of the Free. This is from, I think, mid-90s, 97, I think. And then Land of the Free was 2001. Incredible albums. These are probably my two favorite albums from them, even though I don't think that they've got so many great ones it's hard to pick. Right. But yeah, this has been like heavy rotation. Not only have I been listening to these records, I've also been streaming all their stuff also.
So we went and saw Bad Religion last year. Yeah. And I always knew Bad Religion, but I didn't really ever listen to their music. And like I said, now they're like in my top 5 bands of all time. So when I first started listening to them, I would put them on Spotify, and when the album ends, it would shuffle in other bands. Pennywise would come up. I'm like, how have I not heard this before? Yeah. So I totally get it. So the first one I'm going to go with it's a very similar thing. I came across this band in that shuffle from Bad Religion. It's a band called Propagandhi. Yeah. And their new album just dropped, so I haven't had a chance to even buy it, but I've already been able to listen to it twice. And I have a feeling it's going to be probably in my top 5 of the year so far. Definitely so far. It's called At Peace. Just came out. Check it out. It's going to be a buy for me. I'm totally going to buy it.
I think I've only listened to, I think there was 2 singles that they released off the album before it came out. Yeah. I like what I've heard of it, so I haven't had a chance to listen to it.
The whole album's good. Yeah. I mean, it's really on par with what those tracks were. Yeah. And some of them are even better, honestly. Yeah. So definitely that's one I would highly recommend and to check out, and I'm going to be buying it soon. Yeah. So
speaking of albums that just recently came out, one that I've been listening to a lot is Lio Pompei by Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd, no way.
No, I know, it's a shock. It's a shock. It'd be like you talking about Jethro Tull or Alice Cooper.
We'll see.
But so this is the first time it's been available officially on vinyl. It was, even though it was recorded and released as a movie in 1972. Right. It's never been available on vinyl. So I've had a bootleg copy of it, which I thought it sounded good until I heard this. It was all newly remixed and remastered by Steven Wilson. It's a half-speed master cut at Abbey Road. It sounds fantastic, especially compared to that older bootleg copy that I have. Yeah.
So again, in the same vein, might as well just throw it out there. Listen to Tull, new album came out in March. I should probably do a video just talking about this. I mean, I know Nick did.
Wait, you're going to do a video?
I should. I didn't say I would.
He hasn't been on the channel in like 6 months. He's going to do a video now.
I said I should. I didn't say I would.
Okay.
Because there's a lot I have to say about this album that I'm not going to go into right now. I like the album. It's a good album. And if it is the last album, which I highly suspect it might be, it's a good way to go out. But I have other things to say about it. But I've been listening to this a lot lately, of course, because it's Tull, and same with Pink Floyd. So
yeah, probably one of my most played albums so far this year is the new album from Frankie and the Studs, Life's a Glitch. So if you're not familiar with this band, they're a punk band fronted by Frankie Clark, who is the daughter of Gilby Clark, guitarist for Guns N' Roses and a bunch of other stuff. But easily one of my favorite albums of the year. Probably at this point in the year, it's probably my number 1 album of the year. So,
I have to give it a listen.
Yeah, it's really good. I highly recommend everyone checking it out.
So my next one now, by the time this episode drops, the album might already be out, but Counting Crows have a new album coming out this month, and just to get prepared, I've been listening to some Counting Crows, obviously. So the most recent one, I just listened to this yesterday, Underwater Sunshine. It's their cover album, and I'm not big on cover albums as a rule.
They do an okay job.
But they do an okay job because they don't change the songs so much that they're completely different, but they make them their own to the extent that I can listen to it and still feel like it's Counting Crows. They add their own flair to it. And there's songs that aren't like super popular. Most people wouldn't necessarily
I think that's why I liked it.
Yeah,
exactly. You're not automatically thinking of those other songs.
I'm not comparing. You know, some of them I've heard before, some of them I haven't. And to be fair, there's one song on here. I forgot the name of the band that did it, Prairie League or Prairie something. There's a song called Amy, and it was a big hit for them back when it came out.
Yeah, I remember the song.
Their version is better. I mean, Counting Crows version is better. So, again, it's not a huge difference, but it's better. So I've been listening to this. The sound quality on this album is better. I don't know what it is about this particular album. I don't think it's depressing because even my digital version sounds better. Yeah. Something about maybe the way they recorded it, I don't know. But there's a really high quality sound to the way this album sounds. So
another band that's been around for a long time. And I've never, I've listened to some of their stuff. I just never really got into, I don't think I've ever like sat down and actually listened to more than one or two albums. But Teenage Bottle Rockets Total was reissued for Record Store Day this year, just to earlier this month, or April 20th, or no, it was April 12th is when it was this year. But, this is the only album from the band I'd ever listened to, but it's been a long time since I listened to it. And ever since I've listened to this one, I mean, I've started going back through the rest of their albums. There's a bunch of them that aren't available on vinyl, haven't been available in a long time. I'm waiting for some of those to get reissued because this is one of those bands I want to have all their albums.
Yeah. So about a week or two ago, I kind of went through a big Kansas phase where I just went through and listened to all of their albums, and this was the last one. Not all of their albums, but I got up to Audio Visions in 1980, so I started in 74 and went all the way up. I mean, literally just listened to them all back to back in a day, and this was the last one I ended up with. And to be fair, this is one that I haven't listened to a lot in the past.
I don't know if I know anything off of this one.
It was kind of like it was their last album with the original lineup of the band, because after this album,
1980.
Yep. So a few of the members left after this album, but I was amazed at how much of this album I really liked, as much, and if not more, than the album that came out before this, which was Monolith. I mean, because honestly, this was the very first Kansas album I ever remember listening to, because my mom had a copy of this when I was like 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Audio Visions, if you're a Kansas fan, you should really give this album a listen, because it does have that 80s vibe, which can date it a little bit, but the music stands out. It really is. I would put it as not as good as Point of No Return or Left Overture, but in the same category.
Put it up there?
Yeah, I'd put it in the same category.
Another album that just recently came out that I've been listening to a lot is the new album from Ghost, Skele. I like Ghost. Impera was the album that got me into Ghost. I think Impera is probably still my favorite album of theirs. I don't really know what to think of this album, though, because I do like it. I think it is a really good album. But comparing this to other Ghost albums, I don't know. I don't know where it ranks. I don't think it ranks anywhere close to the top as far as their discography goes. I don't know. There's just something about the album. But the more I listen to it, the more I've been enjoying it. I just did a review video on the channel, just a couple of weeks ago. And, I don't know. It's one of those albums I need to sit down and listen to it more to kind of figure out where I'd rank it. But,
me too. Because I'm with you. There's nothing bad about this album at all. It's a fantastic album. But there's just something that, I don't know, it's not grabbing me.
Yeah.
Some of the tracks are grabbing me a lot, but as a whole, yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah, there's at least 2 or 3 tracks on here that I wouldn't necessarily call them skippable, but they're tracks that I think are just okay.
Right.
And when you compare that to an album like Impera, I think Impera and the couple of the albums that came before that really kind of set the bar high for Ghost. And I think they just didn't. It's a good album. I've been listening to it a lot, but it just isn't as good as those other albums, I think.
Right. To piggyback off of I've been listening a lot to Impera, because what I did was when Skele dropped, I listened to it all the way through. And then I went back and listened to Impera again. So then I went and listened to Skele again. And then I listened to Impera again. I agree. Impera is a better album. There's no question in my mind. In terms of just, if you're going to be objective about it, I think Impera is a better album. But there's something about Skele that I just can't put my finger on, just like you were saying. So I've listened to this twice in the last week. For an album that's been out for a couple of years, that's a lot, really. Yeah. So I try to, listen to as much as I can. So listening to one album twice is a lot. That's not new.
I think easily my most played album of the year so far is the Ghost Note Symphonies by Rise Against. I've been a big Rise Against fan for a long time, but I don't know why I never listened to this album. But it was just within probably the last maybe 6 or 8 months that I got around listening to it. And it was maybe because it's a different kind of album. It's all acoustic. And as much as I love Rise Against, once I sat down and listened to this album, some of the tracks on this album, some of the acoustic versions of these songs, I think work even better than the versions that are on their studio albums.
Well, it's a lot like the Unplugs of the, Nirvana Unplugged, the Alice in Chains Unplugged. Some of those songs are the Unplugged version, the acoustic versions are like, wow.
Yeah, but some of these songs, because, Rise Against the punk band, so some of these songs are naturally played faster. So when they're slowed down, played acoustically, in some of the instances on this album, it almost changes the perception of the song.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. So this one is Tori Amos, Scarlet's Walk, probably my favorite album of hers, which is saying a lot because she has a lot of albums.
What year did that come out?
The original release was 2002.
Okay.
So this repressed, well, I shouldn't say repressing because it was never pressed on vinyl when it came out. This is the first pressing of it. Was done in 2023, and I just never got around to getting it. Well, I finally did. So I've been listening to this a lot. It's a long album, so they'd have to be on a double disc.
I think a lot of her albums are longer.
Oh yeah, from Boys for Pele all the way through till American Doll Posse, probably. All of them were like 75 plus minutes long. So, and this is no exception. I think this one's actually 78 minutes. I could say a lot about this album, but I finally got it on vinyl, and I'm happy I did. I've been able to listen to it a lot.
Well, that's all we get for today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Make sure you drop us a comment down below. Let us know what you guys have been listening to lately, because it's always, these episodes I always find interesting because I'm always looking for new stuff to listen to.
Yeah.
And every time we've done one of these episodes, I get a bunch of albums that I've never listened to in the comment section. So let us know what you guys think. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give us the old thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. That's all we got. Until next time.
Talk to y'all later.
Peace.